Hi, I'm Marc with the mouth, and this is Danielle, my smart wife. And 3 years ago, I made the trip out to Arizona to pursue a creative dream of creating content. And now we're finally getting down to it, thanks to the loving and support of my beautiful wife. We're creating our first episode. And as we're creating our first episode, you can see us in our matching holiday pajamas.
Yeah, we just took holiday photos together.
This is our holiday edition episode.
And these are cute, like Old Navy matching pajamas. And now Marc wants the sleeves cut off of his top.
She calls me the hillbilly Christmas version of myself, but it's also because we live in Arizona and it is hot
out here, but whatever. We got the pictures already, so
yeah,
what do I care? We'll cut the sleeves off. So I'll be doing that, and we're going to talk about some holiday
traditions of growing up. We're going to talk about holiday traditions growing up and traditions of past and present that we'll adopt into our lives with our son and bring into his life. Because we both grew up very differently. I was raised Jewish. Danielle was raised Catholic. We have very different traditions and routines that we had growing up as kids and even adopted into our adult lives as well, that we still practice today. And then there are some ones that I don't quite understand that with the help of my smart wife, we're going to look up and have looked up, different origins of those traditions. So growing up very different, there's a lot of contrast and comparisons between being a kid celebrating Hanukkah and celebrating kid growing up celebrating Christmas. A lot of traditions that Danielle had, I had never been familiar with except for the commercial ones like, Christmas tree or putting presents under the tree or any of those commercial things you can think of, giving Santa Claus cookies and milk, things that we didn't really like. There was no Jewish equivalent of setting out something for the person that brings you gifts because you just knew it was your parents as a Jewish kid.
Oh, yeah. Like, I guess I didn't think about that. Like, you don't have like a mystical, magical Saint Nick or whatever coming down the chimney. And
or like
breaking into your house.
Or like writing to Santa. Like, did you write to Santa?
Yeah, I think it was mostly like a school thing. I don't feel like my parents really.
They didn't enforce that, really?
Yeah, but I feel like I definitely wrote a letter or two to Santa.
Okay.
And then my parents actually, we used to get the Toys R Us big book of toys, in the mail. I guess it was like you were part of a mailing list. And my mom would just have us look through it. Like, she would just give it to me and my brothers.
And like, what do you want?
And be like, fold down the pages, your aunts and uncles want to know what you want. And like, I don't care.
If that was being talked about with my aunts and uncles, I had no idea when I was young. But we also didn't have a lot of family parties after the age of 7 or 8 for Hanukkah. Like, when I was younger, Hanukkah would be a big family gathering. But by the time I was 8, other holidays took that place because Hanukkah is not like Christmas where it's every year at the same time. It actually changes based on the Jewish calendar. So sometimes Hanukkah could be during Thanksgiving. Sometimes it could be at the very beginning of December. Sometimes it's on Christmas, like it is this year. It's actually on Christmas Day. So we, basically placed our family get-togethers based on where Hanukkah landed. So, some years we got together on Hanukkah, but most years we got together just for Thanksgiving, and that was it.
That makes sense. Yeah. I mean, my family had a tradition of the East Coast family that wasn't living in Florida at the time. So my mom and my brother, we would switch off. It would be or her brother, I should say. Did I say my brother?
You said your brother, but
yeah. So her and my Uncle Jimmy, right? We would say, one year we go up to Massachusetts to be by them, and a lot of people would fly out or join us there. Mm-hmm. And then every other year it would be at our house in New Jersey, so that it would just be some years we travel and some years we stay put, and we host at our house or we host at Uncle Jimmy's. And
so you had ongoing years of family get-togethers even after
Oh yeah, I was in high school, so even my brothers were adults already. I'm the baby. So,
okay.
We would have, and every single year, I even remember there was a really funny story. I just remembered thinking about this topic with you, that my Aunt Annie I asked for Dogma on DVD for Christmas. It was part of my list, part of the Toys R Us big book thing, but, We were older now. So I asked for Dogma, and she was trying to find it for me. And she told me she went to so many different video stores. This is like when DVDs were still out. Nothing was streaming yet because I was in high school. Yeah, so she went to Blockbuster. She went to like Sam Goody's. She went to FYE or something.
There was like private VHS stores too that you go to. That you would just get like that brown box.
She went to all these places, right? And she didn't ask anybody, but she kept seeing like walls and walls of where she thought it should be. And she kept saying Dogita. Dogita, Dogita. And she finally asked somebody at like the 5th store that she went to, and they were like, yeah, there's a whole wall of them. And then they brought her to the wall of Dogita. But the way the lettering on the Dogma package, the M is like 2 crosses.
Oh,
so she read it as Dogita and not Dogma.
Oh my gosh.
And she told me
how many stores did she go to?
I think like 5 or 6. Like really, she tried so hard.
And they all had the tape.
They all had it. And she just felt so silly. And she told me Christmas Eve, because that's another thing with my family. We used to open presents between us on Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve night, like after we would eat and stuff. And my dad's Italian and we're Catholic. So we did the 7 fishes.
What's 7 fishes?
So like you're not supposed to eat meat on Christmas Eve. It's a thing to like celebrate, you know, the fasting and stuff that went on through a lot of cultures, I think. But also, each fish like denotes something. I forget. I wrote it in our Google Doc.
Hold on, wait.
I forget what I wrote. Can you remind me?
Yeah, let me look at it.
I did look it up. Because we always used to do it, and it was always just like nice.
The significance of the 7 fishes has a number of symbolic representations. The number of sacraments, the 7 days of creation, the 7 virtues, the 7 deadly sins, and the 7 days it took Mary and Joseph to reach Bethlehem before baby Jesus was born.
I didn't even know that.
So you make 7 fishes for each day?
No. It's all on Christmas Eve. It's just that we don't eat meat on Christmas Eve.
Oh, okay. So you eat 7 different fishes to celebrate those 7 different... So
there's 7 different dishes that you make. It's like calamari, or like we used to have like cedar plank salmon and like all these delicious like lobster or like a clam.
That's just confusing again because I was raised Jewish. Like I don't... It was
I don't know. Don't you have
we don't have like a Jewish
Passover
dinner
or something like gefilte fish?
We do have gefilte fish, but Passover is different.
Whitefish?
No, yeah, it's whitefish, but different routines other than Hanukkah. There's no like festive meal for Hanukkah. It's just the lighting of the candles. And then there's like, you know, you light the candles and maybe you get like the Jewish candy, which is gelt, which is like candy chocolate wrapped in gold.
Like foil, right?
Basically foil, yeah.
My mom used to put those in our Christmas stockings, actually. What? So I knew what guilt was.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Because of that.
That's cool.
I mean, they were delicious.
I'm glad you got to enjoy them because it's chocolate. Like
a stack of coins. That was our we would play with them and then we unwrap them and eat them.
That was our one like go-to of good, like, oh, we're getting candy for Hanukkah.
Oh, yeah. But that was in our stockings. So technically that's something Santa put in there for us.
Another thing that we did not have was stockings. It was just... You lit the menorah, and it was a very religious, very traditional like holiday. Whereas Christmas, Santa, stockings, like the mystical magic of your imagination kind of helped out there with like believing that this guy came. But you just said like it was your mom, right?
Well, yeah. And there was a time when I didn't know because my mom's awesome. Like we had the best tradition. She was like, Santa, the elves, they're too busy to wrap your presents in real wrapping paper. So she would wrap all of our Santa presents in tissue paper and just put our initial on the front of them. So it was like, these are factory wrapped by the elves. Santa's got a lot of kids to go through. That was the whole thing, you know? And she did like awesome stuff for other holidays too that... Like Easter was awesome. She had like...
It's like that movie we just watched with Jack Black that was like the parents trying to decide whether they should tell their kid, you know...
Like if Santa's real or not.
Or if they should tell him the truth.
I only found out really truly found out was because my mom asked like what one of my brothers wanted and it was like a boombox. And so I told her that in confidence, like it was me and her in the car. And obviously, like, he got the boombox from Santa. but I told my mom about it. So, you know, I was like, oh, Mom is Santa.
So like we just like hoped. We didn't have anyone to tell. We just hoped that our parents knew what we wanted. And if we didn't get what we wanted, we just had to be grateful for what we got, because it was like, you know, you got something.
There was a little bit of that, like, if you even got something that you didn't want, like some people were a little like out. They didn't get you. They got you socks or something.
Sure. Or
I was like, I could use some socks, but I don't really want some socks.
For holidays, we got everything we needed, so it was like really you couldn't complain, because you're like, oh, I this is gonna keep me warm. You know, great.
And you thanked everybody. I mean, it was very nice that you got anything at all.
There wasn't like a wish list like that we had. We didn't have like a wish list where you could just be like, tell this guy that I want this. There's no equivalent to Santa in the Jewish tradition. You know,
that makes sense. I mean, I guess I never pictured it from a Jewish.
How could you, right? I mean,
person's shoes.
I mean, like the same way I could never picture it from a Catholic person's shoes, going through writing to Santa, you know, making a list, even getting coal. Did you ever get coal?
Yeah, I think, but it was more like a joke because I asked for art supplies or something, and my mom was like, "Oh, I got your coal. It's something to draw it," you know, and like. I used it. I think I did draw with it.
That's awesome, though, that it was a good present.
Well, I mean, but I think it was supposed to be like it was like, a joke.
You weren't actually bad.
And I think it was in my stocking. I don't think it was like.
Or were you ever bad enough that you didn't get what you asked for?
Oh, no.
No, never.
No. I don't know anybody who. No, not even friends. I think it was like a threat, like a meaningless threat, but we all believed it.
Okay.
And then also in elementary school, I remember thinking. There were parents like us, right? One that believes in Santa and one that is Jewish. Yeah. So we have a menorah. We have a little tree back here.
Yeah.
We're going to give him presents on Christmas.
Hanukkah is 8 days, but we don't have a physical menorah. We just have our electric one because, as I said, you know, I was raised Jew-ish. So I'm more of like, it was more of a traditional thing than spiritual for my family growing up. We weren't, you know, very like going to temple all the time.
Oh yeah.
Or like, you know, going to temple every Friday even. Like if you're very conservative, you would go to temple every Friday evening for the Sabbath. You know, and you would just celebrate that every Friday of the year. But our parents didn't really do that. Our parents kind of just like did the main major holidays.
Even before your bar mitzvah?
Even before my bar mitzvah. We didn't go to Sabbath.
See, I'm pretty sure we went to church every Sunday
really?
I was 9 or 10 when you get your communion.
I'm pretty sure we only went on the major holidays of Yom Kippur, Passover. I don't think we went to temple on Hanukkah, or maybe we did. I can't really remember, but I know that we didn't go like weekly. That was not a thing.
Yeah, we definitely went weekly until I think I was like 9. I think when you get communion, they make you for girls wear a white dress and take
even after our bar mitzvah
and stuff like
after the bar mitzvah, there's 3 of us, my older brothers and myself.
Yeah.
So I think like by the time my bar mitzvah was over, my oldest brother was already in college, so he wasn't going to temple anymore. And my middle brother wasn't going because he just wasn't, you know, spiritual in that way. And it was just maybe me and my parents that would go.
Yeah.
But like, it wasn't like a big supernatural thing of being like, oh, if you don't go, God will shun you, you know?
Well, yeah, I think we brought this up when we were chatting. It's like the Jewish people don't have hell, right?
Well, we don't believe
you don't have guilt.
There's not
like
a hell, so there's not like Jewish guilt.
If you don't go to church every Sunday, you're going to hell.
If you don't wear your yarmulke, it's a sin.
If you eat meat on Christmas Eve, you
may
or may not go to hell.
You might not get what you want for Hanukkah. No, it was nothing like that really, but it was just kind of like you got what you got and you were happy with that.
Yeah.
And it's like this Elf on the Shelf, like, right? So I see this tradition with Elf on the Shelf now. I had no idea.
Look it up.
We looked this up because I had no idea what Elf on the Shelf was. And I thought asking her that she had knew about this since she was a little kid.
No. And then we looked it up because I was like, I never grew up with this. But I thought maybe it was just like a family experience, right? But it turns out it was
a family experience, but with a specific
2005.
family in 2005.
Which is when we graduated high school.
Yeah. We were 18 at this time. So in 2005, this family wrote a book called Elf on the Shelf.
Yeah.
And it was a family tradition of theirs that now, let's say 19 years later, is a tradition that is nationally celebrated by parents playing pranks on their naughty kids. It's a YouTube viral sensation right now. If you look on YouTube, you can find all these videos of parents.
What I understand of it is like parents don't enjoy doing it, or they enjoy it too much.
They enjoy it more than actually. I'm seeing like parents are enjoying it more than the lesson that they're supposed to be teaching their kid to be good. They're like, "Oh, you were bad."
That's the lesson?
I don't know, because I see all these parents
is watching them.
The elf is watching them, but also the elf. There's like a spiritual elf that is performing pranks on you, so the kids don't think it's their parents at first.
Oh.
They think it's the elf actually doing this. Like a kid woke up with a black eye, but it was just paint and stuff. Right? That's a video I saw.
That's rough.
That's rough. Like how I would never do that to Remy. Like paint his eye and make him think that he got hit by an elf.
Yeah, I feel like I don't want to do that either.
I could never do that. But like I'm watching like all these things, and I looked up on Reddit.
I also don't want to put that much effort into it.
Well, he should just automatically. We are teaching him how to be good. We shouldn't have to prank him to be a better child.
Yeah, I agree.
Right?
I mean, just be good for your own sake.
Yeah. And so I looked this up on Reddit to see like what some people said about Elf on the Shelf. I said, what is the deal with Elf on the Shelf? And the top answer was Christmas gimmicky thing. It sits on your shelf and looks cute. Some of the other answers were, it's super extra. It started as a way to get kids to behave, but it's now a way for parents to show off that their kids are not behaving, which is a crazy tradition.
Oh, you think it's showing off that their kids aren't behaving, or they're showing off about like what prank they pulled?
Yeah, that's what it is. It's showing off what prank they pulled on their kids that are not behaving. Because the videos I saw were like, a parent painting their kid's face while they were sleeping. Like, and then them
like drawing on it, like they left their shoes on at a party.
Exactly. It's like they left their shoes on at a party. By the way, guilty. I was that guy.
I'm sure people drew stuff on your face.
They drew on my face all the time.
Yeah, I love you, but like I'd probably draw on your face.
One time I fell asleep at I think it was a Christmas party actually, and I fell asleep, and someone had put a bowl on me that said tips. And so throughout the party, when I was passed out, people would just leave money in there. But when I woke up, all the money was gone. So I watched the video.
I was going to say that's a pretty sweet deal if you have to keep the money. But
no, I got to keep all the ink on my face.
Gross.
Yeah. It's a tradition for people who are like, oh, you're not good. This elf is going to be bad to you if you're not good. I think that's kind of crazy.
But Santa still comes to these kids.
That's what I'm saying. Like, how does that measure out if you still get Christmas presents?
You're not really
but the elf,
teaching them anything.
Right? How does the elf teach you a lesson if you're still getting the presents after the elf pranks you? It doesn't make any sense to me.
No.
And I think the top answer is that one person said lazy parenting. I think that could be just the biggest sign of lazy parenting is just like, hey, we're not going to teach you to be good, but we're going to do bad things to you.
Or give you a book
while you're asleep.
Tells you what to do.
Yeah. Or scare you into being good. I don't think you should scare your children into being good. I don't know.
Well, I mean, is it better to be feared or loved? Kind of thing.
Well, I love you because I'm too scared to. No, I love you.
You better love how much you fear me?
Yeah, that's right.
Or is it the opposite? I don't know.
Anyway. I don't know. But anyway. So with Hanukkah, we didn't really have like an elf on the shelf type thing. But I did read after Elf on the Shelf was created, a Jewish person, Neil Hoffman, his son asked him for an elf on the shelf. And as he doesn't celebrate Christmas, he created a book called Mensch on a Bench. And mensch is a Yiddish word for meaning a good person or to do good. So I think it's hilarious that the Jewish culture created But
I think that's good. I mean, I'm not Jewish. I know what mensch means. Yeah. Maybe because we grew up in proximity to New York.
Yeah, we had a lot of Jewish areas around our town.
But like, that's cute. Be a mensch.
Well, because it's a book saying like, if you do good things, you will get good things.
Yeah.
Be a good person. And I think it's just funny that like, that was created out of the spite of Elf on the Shelf being a prankster. But like, we're not going to create a prankster in the Jewish religion. We're going to create a good person that you should follow. But it's an honorable person, whereas the elf is a prankster. You choose which one. You can adopt a mensch on the bench if you want. If you don't like Elf on the Shelf.
Yeah, maybe we'll get one of those.
Yeah.
What does he look like?
So I did want my sleeves cut off, and I was going to do it myself. But my wife, being the smart wife, knows that if I cut things up, they don't come out correct.
Yeah. And I mean, this way I cut it so like the hem is still intact. So if it frays a little bit, it won't like completely unravel the rest of the shirt.
So here is the finished product of your
Yeah.
hillbilly Christmas.
Can I have your microphone before you shove it over your sleeve? Oh, so trashy.
Yes. Trash. Your trash bag husband.
You gonna button it up or no?
No, I think I'm going to stay. Yeah, maybe just one button.
Oh yeah, classy. The classy one button look. Wow. Okay.
Okay,
well,
that was it.
We're gonna cut that part out probably.
Okay, that part's getting cut out. So this was the good present my wife has just bestowed upon me.
I don't hate it as much now that it's on.
Yeah, right? It's not bad.
But also, leave us a comment.
Let us know what you think about
Do you think it's trashy?
my trashy pajamas.
I'm biased because I love him. But my initial reaction is trash.
So growing up, Jewish around all this Christmas stuff is confusing to me because with Jewish tradition and Hanukkah, it comes straight from the religious history. But with Christmas denominations, it depends on whether you're Christian or Catholic on what story is being told about Christmas.
Yeah, I guess so.
So like Christianity, Christmas is a big part of the birth of Christ.
Well, not.
No?
I guess let me clarify.
Yeah, please.
Because I think the whole thing with Christmas is like you're Christian.
Yeah.
That's like the overarching thing. But the way I was raised Catholic is because you believe that the Pope is like an extension of God.
Yeah?
Yeah. So you could be a Christian and just not believe that the Pope is like a big deal. And that's the difference between like Christians and Catholicism.
Really?
Yeah. Catholicism is a subfraction of Christianity as a total.
Okay.
Yeah. But and they both believe in Jesus.
But then there's the separate story of Saint Nick.
Yeah,
which Christmas is about.
Is different. And because like I believe in Santa, which isn't even the story of Saint Nick, but like a dude that lives in the North Pole, and stuff, and that doesn't.
But that was adapted from a saint, right? Like who went around giving out presents.
I guess so.
I think so.
Who knows? I don't know. Also, drop us a comment if you think like that's how you were raised. Like I never learned that. I learned the mythology of it. Like he's a dude in the North Pole. He has elves. They build toys.
Reindeer.
Yeah, reindeer, Rudolph, all those.
That's what you were raised on.
Like Frosty the Snowman and stuff.
So you were raised on the commercial aspects of Christmas.
Oh, totally.
More than the religious aspects.
Totally. And I think we used to go to like a Christmas mass or something at church, but I might have been too young I wasn't grasping any of that. Religious
that's where
stuff.
I just draw the comparisons in between the two of us because Hanukkah was much more of a, based on religious history, and then adapted into messaging to make you believe in the power of miracles, which Hanukkah is a festival of lights based on a miracle that happened with the Maccabees. So anyone who's ever not watched the Rugrats episode of Hanukkah, you should definitely check it out on any of the streaming platforms. But it's the story of the Maccabees who had just won a war and had to use the menorah to light the candles. But the cinch was that they only had enough oil to last for one night. And somehow, miraculously, that oil lasted for 8 nights.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we remember that with 3 different prayers that we say on Hanukkah to praise that tradition that has been passed down for thousands and thousands of years.
There's only 3 prayers, but you say all 3 each night?
No. You only say all 3 on the first night. And then every night after, you say just the single prayer for Hanukkah. So, and the first 3 prayers that you say on the first night, the first one is called the Shechianu. And it's recited the first night of Hanukkah, giving thanks to God for just allowing us to experience something again, to give us more experiences ongoing. There's another prayer that is thanking the God for making us holy through his commandments and commands us to light the Hanukkah lights. Final prayer, that is the prayer of Hanukkah, which is just a blessing over the candles. So you have to say those 3 prayers the first night, but then on the rest of the nights, you just say the prayer for Hanukkah itself.
Over the candles.
Over the candles.
Like,
for each night.
Thanks for the oil lasting more
exactly,
than the one
yeah.
day.
That, Exactly, yeah.
All right.
So it's just like giving
this.
praise back to the religious aspects of the holiday, and like I said, growing up as a Jewish kid around all this Christmas, it was very conflicting because, it's like, how is this big red, this big guy in a red suit, praising the holiday that is Christmas?
I remember thinking kids that were Jewish were getting the better deal because
we had 8 nights.
8 nights,
Everyone
8
thinks
presents, at least 8 presents, whereas Santa would give me like 1 or 2, but they were like pretty big things.
Now let's dispute this first, because you had explained to me that you get presents on the night before from family.
Yeah.
So you have exchanges with family first, right?
100%.
And then you get, how many presents do you get on that night?
Well, so both of my parents have a lot of siblings, like 4 or 5 siblings either side. So like, but not everybody would attend it was really just people who were at the Christmas party. So maybe I'd get like,
let's ballpark it,
5 things
on
Christmas Eve.
Okay.
From family members.
Okay. And then Christmas Day, you get...
Christmas Day, I would get the Santa presents.
You get presents
like
from Santa.
Maybe 2 or 3 things.
So total...
And a stocking full of, like,
let's just say
chocolate or
in
whatever.
the 48 hours, how many presents did you get all together?
I don't know, like 8, 9.
Like 8?
Possibly like 10-ish.
If we were lucky. Because there's 8 nights of Hanukkah.
Yeah.
We would get more than 1 present a night. That's if you were lucky. But most people are probably getting 1 present a night, so we'd get the same amount as you,
I guess.
And here's the thing, though. What was not the amount of presents, but the quality of your presents? What were they?
I mean, they were quality because they asked us what we wanted.
And what did you want?
Good things, like art supplies. I wanted Dogma. That was a particular one. I remember asking for things like jewelry, makeup product, or like...
And you'd get it.
Well, yeah, because what other parents are... I mean, I can't imagine your family didn't talk about what kids want, because, like, what they would have to, like, really know the child and be like, I really want to get Susie... So, like, this, like...
Hanukkah wasn't really about, like, getting us what we wanted. It was getting us what we needed.
Oh.
Growing up. Yeah, so, like, I'm not ungrateful whatsoever. It was
definitely a want thing,
I'm definitely not ungrateful whatsoever, because my parents always did get what I needed. What I needed for school, what I needed for clothes, they provided me all the things that I needed. And I think that was a big thing about Hanukkah, was that you didn't ask for anything. You were just appreciative that you got anything. And because the things you got, I mean, now you used for a long time.
I was always appreciative, okay? But, like, now I think I'm even more appreciative that I guess maybe it's the parents, the family members of my, nobody wanted to, like, guess what the kids wanted.
And, like,
or spend their money on something that they wouldn't want, or have to exchange or whatever. What a waste of time.
So, like,
everybody.
The only time I had that joy that you had as, like, getting what you wanted was in the very beginning years of my life, like, between the ages of, like, maybe, not that I can remember between the ages of 1 and 3, but, like, let's say 4 to 7, when we had big group gethers, like, the extended family would get you not clothes, would get you some kind of toys.
Yeah.
Like, but after, like, around age 7 or 8, it just became, like, immediate family would just get you what you needed, and it wasn't like a special holiday. You didn't, like, look forward to Hanukkah every year the way that most kids look forward to Christmas.
Yeah.
Like,
we would be, like, sleepless. That's why the myth about Santa is, like, he knows when you're awake and he knows when you were sleeping, because he wasn't supposed to show up unless you were asleep.
See, Hanukkah has to be done.
You'd be so jazzed. You'd be like, Santa's coming. Oh my God, I'm losing my mind.
No. See, Hanukkah ends at sundown, so we'd have to light the candles as sundown goes, and then the holiday's over. That's it. End of holiday. And then we just go about our regular day.
Would there be any, like, okay, you do the prayer over the candle, you light your next candle, right? Is that when you got your gift?
After you were done, we were like, okay, now time to open presents.
Okay, but you would open them together, right? You and your brothers.
Yeah, like that was the
Your
one tradition is
family?
we had piles and we knew where the piles were, so we would sneak into the room before Hanukkah to see how the piles were growing and like
Oh,
how many presents we were getting. So like there was a time before
you
Hanukkah
had
started,
piles.
like yeah, but they weren't like
That just sounds extravagant.
it was not extravagant. The wrapping was much more extravagant than the gifts usually, but that's because
No.
the gifts were what we needed. Like I said, clothes, socks,
I do remember a
books
Jewish
for
kid in
school.
elementary school saying like, yeah, I got pencil erasers.
Yeah, I got that one year.
And then the socks, obligatory
Got that.
socks.
So like I could have a Jewish Reddit and just talk about all the presents that we got as kids, and I'm sure lots of people would communicate the same gift getting, because it wasn't like rich Jewish kids getting like extravagant toys, and if it wasn't like that wasn't how it was in my family.
Yeah, there were some people in high school that I'm sure got really nice Hanukkah presents.
Oh, I could think of a few.
Yeah. Everybody's wearing those Tiffany's
well, to be fair,
or whatever.
We also grew up in a town that was a very
ritzy
and upper class
privileged
town. Yeah.
Us included.
Included. We were not underclass.
100%.
Like we were privileged kids
but
as well.
My parents,
I think both our parents.
We did. I think they were awesome and smart about it.
Yeah.
But I remember thinking that we were pretty poor growing up because my mom would never let me buy anything. She would make it seem like,
if you didn't need
you're not getting anything until Christmas.
Well, you also told me like your mom would weigh out like if the value wasn't,
or like, come on, you can make that.
If you can make it, if the value's so expensive and you're like, well, if you can make it, then that price is not like what it should be.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have very crafty parents like that. Like my mom's kind of crafty, but she also worked a lot as a labor and delivery nurse. So she worked like 12 to 16-hour days. If she had the free time, I'm sure she would have been much more crafty. You know? But she was like, getting home from being on her feet for 12 to 16 hours and then wrapping presents.
Yeah, nobody wants to be doing that. I'm trying to figure out when I'm going to be wrapping his presents.
Yeah.
We got a bunch of presents for our son from family members that asked what he wanted.
Yeah, which is great. So like, as you can see, we decorate for our son here, which is new to me because we didn't have like decorations so much as far as like matching pajamas or like Christmas trees.
This is my first year of matching pajamas. Let me just tell you. Okay.
But at least with Christmas trees, like there are a lot of things to watch out for. Like we have a cat who also likes to eat at our Christmas tree. So I thought, is that a big issue for people growing up, like with Christmas trees and their animals?
Well, yeah. I mean, my family particularly, like we used to put tinsel on the tree, which is like really thin, metal-y looking. It was like silver or gold or something. And you like kind of put it on the branches. And we used to have real trees in our house. So not only were like our dogs and our cats trying to like drink the water out of the base of the tree.
Oh, because you had to have water to keep the tree like
alive. The stand itself, like you pinctured the trunk with it, like there were like these things that you could screw to like
into the tree so it stayed up.
Right, because like it's a flat bottom, but it's like too small.
So I don't even know, like you actually,
So there's a tree
just
stand,
keep the tree there without
and you
water.
have to water your tree so it would last all December whenever you got it. And
because that's right, you wouldn't just have it for one day.
You got it, like you bought it and you decorated probably early December.
Yeah.
For us, I'm sure other people have much more extravagant like traditions about putting up the Christmas tree.
And Christmas trees are expensive too, right? Like
I think they're way more expensive now than when
you were
we were doing it in the early 90s when I was a kid.
But it's a process to keep it alive like the whole month. Like
yeah. I mean, you just have to water it, really. I mean, and take care of it so your pet's trying to drink the water out of the base. So then you also have like these covers that cover the base, like just cloth, and then you put like the presents in front of it or whatever. But then like your cats will get underneath it, your dogs if they're small enough. And yeah, so we have this tinsel that we used to put on the tree. And I think my mom's first cat like was cool with the tinsel, but when we had Cookie, she was like a calico cat when I was growing up. We had Cookie, Princess, and Puss, and I think only Cookie really ate the tinsel. And then, there'd be like tinsel she wasn't digesting it,
It would
but
just
it
come
was
out as tinsel?
coming out of her. Yeah, it was a full piece of stringy metal coming out of your cat butt, and it's no good. Nobody wants that around the house. So like we couldn't put tinsel, and then one of our dogs, it would like shake her body into the tree. So
what would you do to keep the cat out?
I think we just stopped using tinsel. We weren't like trying to keep her out of it.
Okay. No, I mean in the tree though. Like would they climb into the tree?
No, our cats wouldn't really.
Okay.
Maybe we shooed them enough to say like, no, that's not fair.
There's a bunch of videos that I looked up that have like cats like actually in the tree, like or like pop-up videos where like a cat's just like
you're looking at a tree. Some of them more spry cats than the ones we had fat cats growing up. But yeah.
So I looked up different ways to keep your cat getting out of the tree, because we got this fake tree here, and it's it's not a real tree, but our cat Gizmo still like was trying to eat it before she could decorate it.
Or bat the ornaments off of it or something. Like we just got to keep an eye out.
Yeah. So I looked up like best answers from the internet of how to keep your cat out of a Christmas tree, and I picked the top 2 that I found, which one is cats are apparently afraid of cucumbers and pickles. So there's just like videos that someone answered that linking like a YouTube video of just cats freaking out. So you could put I guess a cucumber in your tree, or
in it, underneath it,
or
maybe?
underneath it, or around it,
because they think it's a snake. I think that's
is that what they think?
I think that is why people say it works. I don't think it works on our cat.
I've seen other videos of like people with like a force field shield, like a plastic shield around their tree, and
that's pretty epic, because it's like a snow globe for your tree.
Because it's like a snow globe for your tree. And there's some cats just like jumping, trying to get in, and it's pretty funny fail videos. And then one person wrote that they have motion sensor camera and automation sensors to launch this loud vacuum noise. Whenever the cats get too close, it just goes. And there's a YouTube video posted that I'll share here that you can see. But it's pretty interesting watching the cats try to get close, and then just. But I guess you could set like any sound that freaks your cat out.
Yeah, vacuums are number one.
Yeah.
Gizmo never wants to be in the room when we're vacuuming. Never.
And then like with decorations, besides trees, what kind of decorations did your parents would put up?
Oh, we'd have lights outside, garland, which is just like, sometimes it looks like pine trees and stuff with like holly berries, or mistletoe, like you kiss under the mistletoe kind of thing. That was like in between the.
I mean, I know what mistletoe is, but I just didn't know what those
we
experiences.
Had stuff around the house. My mom had some things that maybe like she made growing up, even. My dad didn't really have anything, but like there was like a sleigh bell we had that we put on the front door. So it was basically like a leather belt with big giant bells on it. So like it was like a sleigh bell, like a part of Santa's sleigh, like a big leather strap with bells on it that would hang from a door. There was also this thing, it was like a snow shovel. It was like a miniature snow shovel with like a paper mache mouse. I don't know what the mouse meant or anything, but it was like something I think my mom made when she was a little kid, and she used to hang that on like the closet door next to our front door, because we'd have the tree in the living room by the front door and everything in front of that big picture window.
I was always jealous of other kids who like had like lights in their like their windows, or on their like we see people out here that have like on their porches, or like the red and green and blue lights, because it was always so festive.
But, it's really beautiful. I mean, people do such a nice job sometimes.
In the town we lived in, there was like one cul-de-sac that did like 3 houses like did together, where they like had so many lights that were connecting from like one driveway to like all over the house to the next house to the next house.
Yeah,
it was like a cul-de-sac of just
people would go in on it. I guess their neighbors would go in on it together.
Either that, or they were competing each year, because like every year it got brighter and brighter.
I mean, I never competed or anything, but I had a coworker who was like, their street was like, they used to do a competition every year. And he did some carpentry work, so he was like super into it. And he would start building things for his lawn every year. Every
Like
year.
what?
Like August.
Oh my gosh,
Like
that's crazy. That's a lot of investment.
And he would
time.
talk about it because like he would build these like big. I think this past year he built like these big candy cane arches out of wood.
That's awesome.
So like people would actually come into his yard and like
people.
experience.
It's like an attraction now.
Yeah,
that's super cool. That's like what we have here in.
And he didn't win.
No.
Like again, like like I think this is like his 5th or 8th year or something. It was like a lot of years of like not just putting in a lot of effort and not winning. And I'm like, I could see the appeal. They make movies about it.
I have the appeal because of all the years of not, doing stuff. Like that's why even the window, like I bought these pasties, like jellies, just to put because we're in an apartment. They're not pasties, they're jellies, but they're like festive, like Christmas jellies, right? And so I just like littered our window.
Their window clings. Their window clings.
Like there's a Santa Claus, there's penguins. Like I'm super festive. Like I'm like let's like Halloween, Christmas, all the holidays. Like I'm like let's get festive and put lights out.
Yeah, but I'm of a different mind where I just figure I like it to be pretty. I do enjoy participating, but I just find it's a lot of work.
It can be. I will do all the work.
It's a lot of work putting it up. It's a lot of work taking it down. It's a lot of work, and I like don't have the time.
In this instance, we can switch roles where usually I'm the idea person and Danielle is the executioner, which of those. But for these kind of purposes, I will totally be the executioner of
please decorate.
Putting up and take down like holiday traditions. Because growing up as a kid, we were so bland with just a menorah in the window, which there's nothing wrong with that.
But I like the menorah in our window.
Our menorah actually, it didn't have. It was like old fashioned. It was gold, but not real gold. Like it was like a metal.
Maybe it's gold plated.
No.
Was it real candles?
No. It was electric in the window.
Oh.
So but the bulbs were like different colors, like red, green, blue, like.
That's cool.
Maybe it was just red and orange.
Did they like flicker like real candles?
No, they just lit up. But like our menorahs even like so like we had like these old fashioned menorahs and I think they were
that's what I was picturing when you first said it. I was thinking like
that we used for candles.
Like a real big like tapered candle.
No, so it was just like a gold plated like old menorah that had Hebrew writing on it, like and had the prayers on it. And I think it was handed down from my grandparents probably. Like it may have been something
maybe it's a
or my parents
heirloom.
bought it, I'm not sure. Like we definitely may not still have it now, but I know like by the time I was a teenager, my mom's menorah, a menorah was cats, and on their heads was the holder of the candles. But there were cats like doing different things, like playing with yarn, like and it was just like, is that really a menorah? I mean, it's more like a candle holder.
Would the cats have yarmulkes on?
No, they were just cats.
Oh.
It's a cat menorah.
I find that really cute, though.
It is adorable.
Picturing something that's really cute. Maybe we could put a picture up in the corner.
Okay, yeah, we can find that. My mom still has it, and I'm sure I can get her to send me a picture of it.
A cat Nora.
It's on her shelf in their house. Like they have like a few different menorahs probably still, but like the original ones when I was a kid, I don't know where they still are.
I guess that's another question I have. Is like, would you just would have one menorah, or you have a collection of them?
I'm pretty sure we had one menorah and then we had like backups, like because the thing with the candles is you have to let them burn all night and then you have to do this for 8 days.
Right.
So you have to get the wax out every night that's melted on the menorah because trying to put a candle
if you had a real candle, where would the wax go?
Exactly. So like then we had to clean it often. We had to clean it every day. So we had to clean all the wax off of it and then put new candles in and do the process all over again. So you do one candle and the middle candle, then 2 candles and the middle candle, then 3 candles and the middle candle.
Gotcha.
And every day you're always lighting the middle candle, but all that wax doesn't just disappear. So it was a very big process.
Wow. Okay.
Of celebrating the holiday to keep, so as I'm saying, like with Christmas, it's just like, there's no like ceremonious like event.
The only thing is like after Christmas, getting rid of your Christmas tree if it is a real tree.
Yeah, that's just like
or a
disposal,
fake tree.
Not ceremonious.
Things are falling off of your fake tree, and then it's just garbage, right? You just have like this weird.
It's detriment. It's like, I have a tree in my house.
Plastic, but the real ones, like maybe they'd last a little bit past the New Year's, but then you'd have to put them out on the side of the road.
What's the longest you've had your Christmas tree for?
Oh, I don't know. Like maybe like January 14th or something.
I think there's people out there that probably keep their tree like
If it's a
longer.
real tree, those pine needles are all over your floor.
That's
Like
crazy.
that is not. It is a messy thing. They're falling off the whole time you have the tree.
Okay.
Even just getting it into the house.
Yeah.
A lot of pine needles are falling in your everything.
So like I said, I'll always when we get a new place, when we are in a place where we can have a tree, possibly if you want a tree, I'll be the guy that cleans up the stuff, puts it in.
We'll see how expensive these real trees are because I'll probably just want a fake one again.
We're also like in Arizona. Who knows if we'll find a real tree?
But they have them, isn't there?
They do.
The Christmas tree farm, like right next door to our apartment complex.
No, they sell them in the parking lot of the place down the road. They must import those trees here from somewhere.
I don't know. There's pine trees. There's a pine tree right outside this window that's like in the ground. That has pine cones.
That's not a Christmas tree.
Well, it's not a Christmas tree, but it's whatever those are, coniferous or deciduous trees. I forget which one is which. If we weren't using my phone to record, I would look it up. This is one of those things that I would look up.
We can look this up right now.
I'm smart wiping. I'm
what kind of tree is a Christmas tree? They could be many types. It says evergreens, white pine, noble fir, Douglas fir.
But are all those are species?
Fir, spruce, and pines. So
there could be difference is are those coniferous or deciduous? I think those are like the overarching terms.
What kind of trees are coniferous trees? A group of trees that shrubs that produce cones and have needle or scale-like leaves.
Okay, so they're coniferous. That makes sense.
Yeah, they're coniferous.
Now that I said it so many times, coniferous, like cones, pine cones.
Yeah.
Get it together.
God, this is part of our communication process and what our show is about, is figuring it out. We figure it out together by communicating, which is the best.
Yeah, that was a good conversation. Now we know.
Now we know.
They're coniferous.
Managing to keep it together.
Yeah.
But that's awesome. So again, just because growing up as a Jewish person without decorations, I will always be at the forefront of it. May be a hassle, but that's totally worth it. I'll do it all the time. I'll put up the tree, take it down. And
good.
As long as you clean the menorah.
If I just have to get wax out of it, no problem.
Yep, that's it.
I feel like that's easier than picking up and putting down a whole tree.
No, it's not bad. Oh, and then so it's the holidays, and like everybody watches something starting December 1st. So we have a top 5 holiday movie list.
Holiday movies.
He
wanted to do a top 10. I was like, honestly,
I think we could do a top 10. I can't even do. But and she said this before, but like once I got her started, she got to her top 5 real fast.
I mean, because we talked about what yours were.
Oh, well. So this time of year, everybody has like favorite holiday movies, and we both grew up with different ones. My dad grew me up on like this holiday of Christmas, like going to the movies and seeing like multiple movies at one time. Because we'd buy one ticket and like sneak into the movie theaters, because being Jewish, nothing else is open. And so we would just do movies and Chinese food that day. So it just gave me like a love for movies around this time of year all the time. What movies would you watch growing up, or like you like still watch today?
Batman, right? I mean, like I used to watch Batman almost every single day. The original
Michael Keaton version.
The original one with Michael Keaton as Batman and Jack Nicholson as the Joker, which I don't think has anything to do about Christmas. I mean, it's set during like the wintry time.
Well, the second one is about like during Christmas exactly.
Yes, it is.
The first one is just I think may have came out around this time or not. I don't know.
I have no idea about when things came out, because I think it came out in 1987 when both of us were born.
Yeah, we weren't even alive. I think actually 1989.
Well, the second one, is that what you're talking about?
No, the first one came out in 1989, I think.
Maybe.
I'm gonna look it up right now. But
yeah, I would watch Batman, and then what else did I say?
Batman.
We wrote it down.
Oh, Christmas Story.
Oh yeah, with the leg lamp.
Wasn't so popular with my family for some reason. I don't know. We never really watched it.
It was on every single channel. I feel like
everyone I know talked about it all the time.
I mean, it was on cable all the time.
Never really. I don't know why I didn't see it till like way later.
Yeah, that's weird to me. You'll shoot your eye out. Like
National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation is one that.
Yeah, I would watch that. I mean, we would watch that.
I was just like, it's something that was more familiar.
Terrible story, because the dad like loses his job and like,
and then he takes the boss hostage. Yeah.
Spoiler alert! That's what happens there. If you haven't seen it already,
a lot of people probably don't recognize this one, but it was really good in the 90s. The Ref.
Oh yeah.
Because that was really good. It's about a family getting kidnapped. Dennis Leary. Not breaking into a house.
Kevin Spacey.
Yeah.
He's canceled now, but whatever.
Yeah.
The movie was pretty funny for the time period, I think.
And then two on mine that are really important are Scrooged, which is really good because I love the Christmas Carol story by itself, because it's just
terrorize rich people.
Let's terrorize rich people and help the less fortunate, right? What better story tells you that than A Christmas Carol? And Trapped in Paradise, starring Nick Cage.
Know what this one is.
Oh, so Nick Cage, Dana Carvey, and John Lovitz. They're brothers, and Dana Carvey and John Lovitz just get out of prison. Their brother, Nick Cage, is a cop. And John Lovitz has the scheme of going to this small town called Paradise, where he learned about a bank that is like easy to rob. Right. So he convinces his brother, Nick Cage, to come with him and Dana Carvey, John Lovitz and Dana Carvey, down to Paradise, and convinces him to rob the bank. And as they rob the bank, they get stuck there trying to escape, like by so many different elements, and end up
trapped in paradise.
They're trapped in paradise, trying to get away with this big, huge bank haul that happens like once a year at this bank.
Now that you gave me the synopsis, maybe you did force me to watch this.
I did. It's really funny and it's really good. Especially,
maybe we'll rewatch.
We're probably going to rewatch it, but I recommend anyone watching it because it's Nick Cage movies are just awesome.
Earlier, you said we should watch something after we recorded.
What did I say? I don't know.
Oh, Gremlins.
Oh,
you
Gremlins.
Want to watch Gremlins.
The second one, because that's a Christmas movie. Oh, no, they're both Christmas.
Both of them.
No, actually, it's just the first one. The first one's a Christmas movie. The second one's just about, like, the new batch.
Oh, yeah, I guess.
But we should watch Gremlins, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
That's my top 5. Well, so thank you all for tuning in to our first episode of our holiday edition of Marc with the Mouth and the Smart Wife.
Yeah, this was definitely a learning experience.
Yeah.
The editing will definitely show.
Yeah.
Like when we turned on the lights, because the day is dwindling.
And stay tuned for more episodes to come.
Yeah, we'll get better every time.
Yeah. Happy holidays, everybody.
Happy holidays. Bye.